This is The Lavender Phantom, Book 1 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. Part 6, Chapters 26 to 30. For previous chapters or to start from the beginning, navigate to the playlist titled The Lavender Phantom on this channel. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to help me produce more free audiobook stories for you. Happy listening. Chapter 26. His fingers tighten around my neck. Not enough to choke me, but enough to show me he is there in the moment with me. He shifts his body to mine and props himself on his arm so that he towers over me. Turning me over so I lay on my back, he lowers his head until his lips are a feather's touch against mine. He will say something. I wait, although I've not been told to. It takes all my composure not to crash my mouth against his. And then we kiss. As his lips press to mine, his hand squeezes both sides of my neck. The blood stills in my head, clouding my eyes. I close them, focusing only on the feel of Damien's mouth against mine. As the seconds tick away and everything gets blurrier, I moan. His tongue parts my lips and tangles with mine. He tastes like mint and welcoming warmth. He releases my neck a second before I pass out. His mouth withdraws, allowing me to pant away as the blood rushes back and the world regains color.
"You're a good kisser,"
he whispers. There is now something sad in his eyes. He swipes his thumb across my lips, drying them and leaving a trail of heat. When I regain my focus, he's already pulled away.
"I might ruin the mood with my next question, but I have to ask it,"
he says in a serious tone. He is still smiling, but there is something different to its shape. Will I have enough time around him to learn what all his expressive smiles mean? What is it? My voice is raspy, worry and desire mixed in my timbre.
"Do you know a teenage girl, maybe around 15, 16, brown hair, brown eyes, maybe owning a black suede choker?"
I pinch the bridge of my nose with 2 fingers and sigh.
"Who is she to you?"
He continues.
"Is she a friend? A friend's daughter?"
Damien's whispered questions strike my heart like well-aimed arrows. I'm enjoying myself right now, even as Melanie is sweating with nightmares at Hannah's. Do I even deserve to enjoy myself like this? Am I failing my sister by not being faster, by not being safer? A sister, I say quietly. Was it you?
"What?"
Did you save her?
"I don't think I saved her. I think I reset how things should be. Lavender was never meant for pain, and the entertainment is not suited to non-adults. I sent her on her way."
But you know your associate lured her here, right? You allowed them to use her to get to me. Tears prickle my eyes.
"No, Adrian. If I'd known, I would have never approved it. Communication with my associate outside is difficult. They acted without consulting. I had to set things straight. In their defense, they thought Valerie would see your sister was underage and send her away. They wanted a bit of CCTV footage to send to you. Their biggest flaw is not having the imagination that the people here are depraved beyond belief."
How old is your associate? Sometimes it feels like they're my sister's age.
"I can't tell you, I'm sorry."
I narrow my eyes. Are they really underage? It would explain the briefing document and the poor decision-making.
"I'm so sorry about your sister,"
he continues. I know you are. I saw you get beaten up on the video. You gave her time to escape. She's shaken and traumatized, but she'll be fine. I'll do my best. We're quiet for a moment. Thank you for stepping up. This whole place is full of people who close their eyes to other people's suffering. Maybe you're right. Maybe you can rebuild Lavender to be something beautiful.
"Then join us in our vision,"
he says as he gets close to my face again. I think he might kiss me again, but he only whispers in my parted lips.
"Join me."
I'll think about it, I say, and we spend the next few moments silent. Then he pats my head like I'm a child and turns to his side, arranges his arms in front of him, and falls asleep. At least I assume so, because his breathing deepens. I'm tired too, but I ponder his offer. I'm not used to allies. I'd trusted the brigand chief with my life, but I was young and stupid then. Now I have Melanie. I have Hannah. I have a semblance of a life that I like enough not to want to throw away. Chief always used to say, if you're not strong enough, you have to lean on others and let them lean on you so you can be strong together. I've never been convinced of that before, and I don't know if this is the case here. Whatever my decision is, I can tell Damien is used to being the boss, to have his words heeded. But this job has become too personal to me. I've become too entangled. I need to be in control and call the shots. Any alliance I agree to will require my equal footing with Damien. I refuse to be an underling. The sentiment is obvious in my head, but the method to achieve it isn't, so I continue tiptoeing around sleep until the morning hours. The door opens. Matthias stands there, visibly refreshed. He has an enormous smile on that melts the moment he sees Damien and me tangled in bed. I must have fallen asleep, because I'm spooning him like he is a traveler and I'm his backpack.
Why are you both naked?
He sounds equal measures appalled and amused.
The doctor prescribed rest, not whatever this is. Also, how dare you? I was sleeping next door.
Should we have invited you?
Damien's husky morning voice catches me by surprise. He stretches his arms, then curls up in agony.
Matthias, I think the painkillers wore off.
Of course they did. I should make you put your underwear on by yourself as punishment,
he says. It is interesting how his eyes are glued to Damien. I stand up and pick my panties up from the floor. Not bothering to hide, I put them on and reach for the tank top. Still looking at Damien, Matthias says absent-mindedly,
Do you have any pain, Adrienne?
I put on my hoodie and sweatpants. My mangled nipples out of sight. I feel more like myself again. I do, but nothing you can do anything about.
I could give you pain relief.
I like my pain, thank you very much, I say and walk toward him. Are you just going to stand there staring? I want to wash up.
Right, yes, sorry, I will get my needles.
It's rude to stare at a woman like that, you know.
Damien says. He is still facing the wall in his fetal pose and is clearly oblivious it is not me Matthias is gazing so longingly at. I shake my head and go to brush my teeth. Chapter 27. When we're all gathered around a camping table in the infirmary room, it is almost noon. At least that's what the clock says. It's difficult to tell time in the basement. How has Damien lived like a mole for years without killing everyone in Lavender? The realization that I have wasted my morning makes me cranky. I need to talk to Melanie today. It takes us half an hour to assemble a makeshift breakfast, a bowl of cereal in front of each of us. Matthias and I are grumpy, while Damien is chipper once his painkillers kick in. His arms don't look pretty, but there is no hesitation in his moves. We eat silently, under sounds of crunching cereal.
I'll sneak you out,
Matthias says to me.
Your clothes and shoes are over there. Tanya brought them. Are you sure you want to return tonight?
Damien doesn't respond and pretends he's not here. My eyes narrow, but I only say, Thanks for the clothes. We're going to be here.
Oh, is it a we now?
Matthias replies. He is now rummaging inside his doctor's bag.
Nothing happened, Matthias. Stop sulking.
Damien says, and slurps the last milk in his bowl. He turns to me.
When you go in, find Tanya. She'll fill you in. I've asked her to cover for you.
Thanks, I say, and finish my own soggy cereal. Lavender during the day is quiet. Matthias takes me to the fire door, gives me his number, and I slip out unnoticed. On the way home, I phone Hannah and tell her I'll pick up Melanie from school before bringing her to her place. An ominous feeling settles in my stomach, the same I got when I had to face my parents and lie about where I'd been. At home, I message my employer to communicate with Damien about what has happened and leave the howler for another time. I add that I accept the reduction in fee. I'm in no mood to haggle. I put the laundry on and catch up on sleep. A bit after 3, I pull up to the school anxiously. I've never picked Melanie up before. With no idea how she will react, I ease the car into the school lane slow and steady, like I'm learning to park. I notice bundles of students coming out, chatting, laughing, bumping fists, or sharing things on their phones. Is Melanie doing okay at school? Has she blended in fine after the incident? I don't really know. I hope so. She comes out together with Simon and another 2 girls I don't know. Simon is laughing his head off next to her, his hands on his knees as he wheezes. That puts a smile on my face. Simon has always been a good influence on Melanie. So, very unlike her, and yet her best friend. His clothes are always bright. Today he is dressed in a neon green puffy jacket that complements his dark skin and cornrows well. A purple rucksack with a monster face shakes on his back as he laughs. Melanie is in dark jeans and a deep blue denim jacket, but despite her glum outfit, she is smiling. Their interaction looks easy, natural. I roll down the window of my Honda and wave. There is no way to miss a bright orange car. Melanie spots me instantly. Her face is surprised for a moment. Then she gives her friends a high five each and skips toward the car, her hair swaying side to side and her backpack jumping up and down on her back. She doesn't look embarrassed to meet me, and I sigh with relief. The other students only give us passing glances and go their own ways. I'm thankful. My car is neither expensive nor clean, so the lack of attention is a good thing. I don't want Melanie to have a hard time at school because she has no parents and is ashamed of her sister. She gets in with a smile. She looks well, except for the dark circles under her eyes and the dull color of her usually lustrous brown hair.
Hi, Soph,
She says, and reaches to pinch my cheek.
I almost forgot what you look like.
It hasn't been that long, I say, but know it is a weak excuse. How have you been?
Fine.
She grins, but I see through her disguise. She is tired and annoyed. She is not happy with me. I'm sorry. Night shifts pay time and a half, and I thought it was a good idea when I signed up.
Whatever.
She says. Her words sting. Her smile has disappeared. Her hunched posture makes her appear small, like a squirrel. Except she is neither cute nor fluffy at the moment.
Did you want to talk about something? Is that why you picked me up today?
I put my hand on the stick shift, considering whether to drive off and tell her while driving. Then I reach up and squeeze her shoulder, deciding against it. Still not sleeping well?
I miss my own bed.
But
There's nothing to tell. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to put this all behind me.
her words are quick like darts and angry like poison. I need to know as your guardian, I say. You should tell me when things get bad. Melanie scoffs.
Tell you when. Hannah is always there when you're there. And when I get to see you for a bit, you're so tired you don't even ask about how my day has been.
I'm sorry. I thought you needed space. Time to process.
Start the car.
She says. Her voice is harsher than I've ever heard.
Stop apologizing. I don't want to talk about the incident, but I still want to talk to you.
A shame that I've been pushing deep down resurfaces with a vengeance. The old nagging question about whether my revenge quest and the job is worth it comes back. I drive out and toward Hannah's house. How can I make it better? I say after the silence between us stretches too long.
For starters, stop lying.
What? Melanie's sudden attack catches me unprepared. How does she know? What does she know?
What do you think of me, Soph? Tell me honestly. Don't say what you think I want to hear.
Melanie says, her voice calmer. I take a second to think. You're smart. You have your future in front of you. and I have to protect you so you can achieve whatever you want. She sighs. At the edge of my eye, I notice her shaking her head.
You think I'm a child?
Well, you are a child, I reply. But what's wrong with that?
Okay, fine. I'm a child. But children aren't idiots. I'm not stupid, Soph. You think I didn't notice the change in you? The hair, the makeup, the scents?
My hands shake on the wheel. Melanie has noticed. She knows something is not the way I say it is.
Your uniform? Always smelling of perfume and never of sweat? That uniform reeked before, when you used to actually go to work and not lie to me?
She only pauses to catch her breath. I pull over because if I don't, I'll crash the car.
You're going to that tea club, aren't you? Trying to find out what happened to me?
Melanie's eyes are full of angry tears. Her voice is picking up volume. I'm sorry, I whisper, and face her. One teardrop rolls down her cheek. I reach to swipe it away. She recoils from my touch.
It doesn't matter,
She yells.
I don't want to know what happened. Do you not understand? I want you to leave it, and I want you to come back to me.
She is full-on sobbing now. I unbuckle my seatbelt and hers and pull her to me. She doesn't fight me this time. I was trying to find who did this to you, I start. I couldn't put it behind me. I have to make them pay for hurting you.
No, you don't.
She mumbles in my shoulder.
You just have to be next to me while I deal with it on my own.
I didn't know what to do, I admit. I was trying to think what Mom and Dad would have done, but I couldn't even imagine it. So I got angry and just did things my way. I failed as a parent. I'm so sorry, Melanie. I chant, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, as I rock Melanie back and forth. As her sobs ease, my own composure crumples and tears leak out of my eyes in tiny rivulets. I know nothing about looking after someone. I can barely look after myself. But I have my sister to support, and I'm doing a bad job of it. She pushes away from me gently.
You're not my parent, Soph.
She whispers. I look away. She takes my face in her hands and turns it to hers.
And that's fine. I need Mom and Dad, but so do you. I can feel it. How you miss them. I miss them too. But you're not Mom, and you're not Dad. So stop lying and stop getting into trouble for me. I just need you. I need my sister.
As her words tumble out, I break down and sob, letting the shame and confusion overtake me. I pat Melanie's back as we hug, and she pats mine. Sadness and ill fate connects us, but also blood and love. Love has hurt us, but maybe it will bring us back together. It has to. We calm and look at each other. I don't know what to do now, I say, my voice wet and raspy.
Can we just go back to the way we were? Don't drive me to Hannah's tonight. Let's sleep together at home. Forget about that place.
I'm not sure how much to tell her. It's not that simple, I say finally. Her eyes widen.
How much trouble are you in? Did they hurt you too?
No, I say. A white lie. I just need to quit properly so they don't suspect anything and they don't come looking for me or you. We don't want them on our doorstep.
That's true.
Melanie nods. She takes a tissue from a package in the glove compartment and hands it to me. I wipe my eyes. She takes one for herself and does the same. I smooth the hair at the top of her head. I will try to leave, Melanie. I promise. I just need a bit of time. Please hang on till then. I will be the best sister after, I say, as I replace my seatbelt and point at hers.
You're still not getting it,
she says with a gigantic sigh. Then explain it to me. My voice hides an edge of frustration. She rolls her eyes as she pulls on the belt buckle.
Some other time,
she says.
Just drive.
So I do. We are silent again, but it is not uncomfortable this time. We both have a lot to process. My heart beats fast and doesn't calm. But it is not the car or the road that amps my anxiety. It is the two paths I have in front of me, both important and real and appropriate. Join me, Damien said. I need my sister, Melanie said. And I asked them both to wait. But time is a luxury I don't have, so I have to gather all my intel and decide on my next action. Fight. Or flight. Chapter 28. My mom used to say that if a person is apologizing, they should dress for it. Everything in your presence has to aid the apology. Your face, your voice, your hands, your clothes, your shoes. Anything out of place and the recipient of your sincerity can feel that you aren't on board with this whole apologizing business. She had told me that time and time again as I stood in front of her with a black eye on top of a fierce gaze, biker boots up to the laces in mud, and a voice of contempt. I wasn't a model teenager. It's only natural I've grown up to be a subpar adult. Tonight I heed my mother's words. Sophie has nothing to apologize for, so Adrian has to convey a fake sincerity through her whole body. My soul remains burning with rage, pain, and the stinging feeling of injustice. I have chosen a tiny cotton lace dress reaching the middle of my thighs. It has buttons from top to bottom, and little ruffles decorate the top hem and the slim shoulder straps. But its best feature is that it is pale purple, lavender. Coupled with my fur coat, dark shoes, and provocative makeup, it is not cute. It is a metaphor for the club I'm about to go back to. Adorable on the outside, hiding lots of secrets inside. My lockpicks are as always in my underwear. I have also taken my tiny switchblade and strapped it to the small of my back. I look at the pink neon sign of the hell that is lavender. It still annoys me how beautiful it is inside. Opulent, indulgent, and so amazingly me. But the way they run it gives it an edge, like black tar on top of a cake. Sickening. I dial Matthias while I step from one foot to the other. I shiver slightly when my bare legs meet the evening Chicago air. He picks up with a curt hello. How are things? I ask.
Overall not bad. Damien is back to being a hostage. They thought he freed himself and went to bed.
Did they say anything about me? Do they know I was involved? I whisper the last sentence, afraid someone might be around to hear.
No, they have no idea you even know each other. Tanya told me she said to Valerie she sent you home because you didn't feel well. I don't think they suspect anything. Damien also told me you're on our side but working a different angle.
You can say that?
He said to give you full support and leave you to it. I wonder what you did to make him trust you so much.
Is this jealousy in his voice? I keep quiet.
I have stashed some supplies you will find useful,
He continues.
They're in the staff room. Tanya's protecting them, so go get them. This is obvious, but say nothing to anyone, even to people you think are on your side. Tanya is your only ally.
I thought she didn't like me, I say dryly.
Allies don't have to love each other,
He says and hangs up. I straighten myself and step toward the metal door. Lavender, I'm back. When I go inside, I don't expect anyone to greet me. As always, I have come before opening time to get ready. There is an unfamiliar girl in the hallway. She glances at me, no recognition on her face. I wave at her. She continues standing there, eyes fixed on the door. I shake my head and move on. The girls who work the door rarely make it inside the private rooms. The turnover at that post is massive. Farther in, the lush interior of the lounge matches my dress. This makes me smile. Well done. Me. Someone whistles from the bar area. I turn to see Ben polishing cups. His silver chain bracelets jingle as he moves his hands back and forth.
Miss Bergamot wants to see you,
He says.
Go upstairs before you change.
I nod. I was expecting this. Valerie isn't going to simply overlook my indiscretion from yesterday. I can bet that there's been a complaint from that disgusting excuse of a human being who violated me. If I ever see him again, I will make damn sure he has lots more to complain about. My legs are unstable in my high heels as I walk across the thick carpet. It would have been better to speak to Tanya first. I put a hand on the wall to steady myself, a wave of nausea hitting me like a gut punch as I approach the stairs to the second floor. I look up and see the door to that luxurious room of horror. My knees are liquid, and my breath hitches. I have to move. The fact I'm meeting Valerie in the office is a blessing. I will finally get a glimpse behind the scenes and figure out how to get those ledgers to bring Lavender's dark present into the light. But for that to happen, I have to put my foot on the first step, and then the second, and third. I close my eyes and walk up like a blind person, trailing my hand along the wall. When I reach the second floor, I aim for the door to the office and move straight on. I avoid looking at that door or any other, my mind focused on the destination, regaining control. I take a breath and knock.
Come in.
I hear Valerie's voice. It is not angry or loud. I'm not sure what to expect from this conversation, but I brace myself for the worst. I push the door open.
Adrienne, dear, sit down.
The office is less impressive than any other part of Lavender. It is a room with no windows, but lots of bright, artificial light. It feels like the mall store of an insurance company. It looks proper, but there is an air of fraud and manipulation swirling around. There's a desk, a computer, and an African violet on top of it, a chair in which Valerie sits, and two massive safes behind her. One is slick, black, and modern, the other metal and old. In front of the desk, there are two cushioned chairs. A painting of something green and leafy hangs on one wall. A similar plant grows big and wild in one of the corners, adding some liveliness that the space lacks. One of the Baron's breakfast, Brad or Chad, is standing in the other corner, looking into the distance, pretending he is not there until needed. He looks like an unfriendly walrus. Is his other half recovering somewhere from that kick to the head? Or is he resting 6 feet under?
I called you up here to show you we are in fact in a place of work.
Valerie starts as she spreads her arms so I can take in the bland office environment.
Normally you don't leave work just because you feel like it. The least you do is seek your manager to say you're not feeling well.
There is a silence as Valerie looks at me through her fake eyelashes and rests her chin on her crossed hands. Her nails are long and red, like she has just been stabbing someone's guts.
You look worried,
she whispers.
Don't worry, we all make mistakes. Tell me what happened yesterday.
I should have definitely met with Tanya first to get our stories straight. What am I supposed to say? How to lie confidently when I've been caught lying twice today? Third time's the charm, though. Maybe it'll work. I put my hands behind my back and my fingers caress the outline of the switchblade under my dress. It is a minor comfort.
I'm sorry, I told Tanya.
My British accent tastes foreign in my mouth.
Tanya is superior to you, but I, and only I, manage you as an employee. If there is a problem, you come to me. Is that clear?
Yes,
I say, dropping my eyes to my lap. I want to look remorseful.
The customer who was with you left in quite a state.
I'm sorry,
I repeat.
Did he hurt you?
Her voice is soft, but there is no compassion. She is fishing for evidence the tea failed. She wants to know whether to discard me or keep me on, broken and ready to break again.
I don't remember.
I mumble. What had Tanya said? I try to answer with little detail and lots of room for interpretation.
What do you remember? From the cameras in the East Asian room, you were all having a marvelous time. Then you agreed to go upstairs with our customer. What happened after?
I agreed. I bite the inside of my cheek.
I think I had quite a lot to drink. I only remember vomiting.
I say after a short, tense silence. I figure there would have been no way to cover the puke, so might as well own up to it. Anger prickles my stomach. My jaw aches from clenching. My fingers play with the ruffles of my dress. I hope she takes my fidgeting as anxiousness and not as the onset of rage. I have to finish this conversation quickly.
I see.
Valerie sits back in her chair.
Luckily, the customer agreed this was all an unfortunate mistake. He will see you tomorrow.
My eyes widen. I do not want to see him. I do not want to be close to him. I do not want him to touch me.
Do not make any further mistakes,
She says.
I don't remember agreeing to go with him upstairs.
I say, without lifting my head. It is a desperate attempt to get out of this, but they won't let me, will they?
You did.
Valerie chirps, her voice picking up a cheerful tone. I glance up, disturbed. I don't want that human trash to hurt me again.
Brad,
She says and waves him closer. He towers over me. I crane my neck to look at him as he bends down and puts a meaty hand on my shoulder. The weight of him feels exactly the same as last night. His presence within my space isn't merely uncomfortable. It's as if he is emitting an aura of menace directed specifically at me. He brings a clipboard to my face.
You agreed.
He says. His breath smells like pickled onions. I look at the document in front of me. It is a consent form, and my fake Adrian signature is scribbled at the bottom. My brows furrow as I pluck it from his hand and study it. It's a forgery from the contract I signed upon joining Lavender. I want to laugh and cry at the same time. Adrian doesn't exist, so this thing is meaningless. Yet its existence means that countless misguided girls and boys have sat in this chair, holding yet another thing that prevented them from getting out and reporting their violation. It is repulsive. I put it on the desk in front of me. I want to suggest the revolting customer would probably enjoy someone else's company more, but I reject the idea as quickly as it forms. I don't want to put another girl through this. I will minimize the damage to myself, somehow. I don't want him to hurt me. I won't let him hurt me.
I won't make any mistakes.
I say through gritted teeth. There was never another way to play this. I make a quick decision as I look Valerie in the eyes. If Damien and friends can somehow help me not get raped again, I will finish the job. If not, I will have to middle finger Lavender and cut my losses. Melanie needs me more than we need $15,000. Brad retreats to his corner. Valerie smiles a fox's smile. She's the biggest predator in this neck of the woods, and she knows it.
Wonderful,
She says.
Just to let you know, Tanya has received a pay cut for failing to teach you the proper communication channels. She seems to have taken you under her wing, which is delightful, but for any future mistakes you make, she will stand to receive disciplinary action too.
You bitch. My decision from 2 seconds ago is not so clear-cut anymore. Will I be able to leave knowing something bad will happen to Tanya? Will Damien and Matthias be enough to protect her?
I would rather I was the only one responsible for my mistakes.
I say.
Wouldn't we all?
Valerie says with a sigh.
But we're all here in the corporate chain, and that's simply not how it works. And it shouldn't matter anyway, because you said there won't be any more mishaps.
I want to roll my eyes. She is so smug about it all, so comfortable at inflicting panic and torturing the mind. I hate her confidence. She thinks she has complete power over me. She is wrong. The problem is, she has a little power over me. Under all the anger, I feel a stab of fear.
Is that all?
I ask, keeping my voice as level as possible. I don't want her to know that she has affected me so much. I stand up, ready to go.
Yes,
She says and waves me out.
work the lounge today. You don't look well. Don't want you puking over more of our customers. Brad, escort her downstairs to the staff room and make sure she has some gum or a mint.
My entire body shakes as Brad opens the door and waits for me to go through. My fingers are digging into my palm. I put one foot in front of the other, my body numb to the outside and bristling with pain and fury on the inside. When Brad and I reach the staircase, he grabs me by the neck and slams me into the wall. I cough as the air escapes my lungs.
You're just my type, Red Partridge.
He spits out in my face.
I'm watching you. You make one wrong step and I will be there to take care of you.
His grip on my neck gets stronger. I dig my claws into his arm and kick his shin. He moves his body farther away to avoid my kicks, but puts his forehead to mine. I snarl.
Sure, fight. I like a fighting bitch.
He says with a wide smile. His eyes are glistening with excitement and contempt. Mine are getting blurry.
We will be perfect, you and I. I love it when women vomit all over my cock.
I dig my nails deeper, but my fingers slip on the blood on Brad's arm. He releases my neck a bit. I must have made a face then, because he scoffs as he pushes away from me.
You will learn to love it too.
I duck under him and scramble down the stairs. This place is hell, and I have gotten the attention of one of its barons. Triple fuck. Chapter 29. The staff room is empty except for Tanya. When I enter, she is playing on her phone. She doesn't look up.
There's a makeup bag in my locker,
She says as she continues tapping away.
Close the door behind you, take it, and sit down.
I frown but do as she orders. I look around the room. Are there any cameras here?
Sit down.
Tanya repeats and finally casts a glance in my direction.
You look horrible. Wait till you go upstairs to talk to Valerie. That will make your night much worse.
She is prickly again.
I'm coming back from there now.
I say as I set the plain black makeup bag on the table and rub my neck with my palms. It hurts.
I got intercepted.
That makes her put her phone down. Her 2 diamond rings sparkle on her slim white fingers.
Well, shit. What did you tell her?
Nothing much. That I remembered nothing but feeling unwell and puking, basically.
And she bought it?
I think so. Then she threatened me for good measure. Then Brad attacked me on the way down.
I whisper and study the corners of the staff room once again. I can't see any cameras, but that doesn't mean they aren't there. My hands are still massaging my neck. Tanya's eyes are fixed somewhere behind me. Is she even listening?
He's the worst one of those 2. Stop looking around. No one can hear us. It would have been better if Brad was the one in ICU.
Chad's in the hospital. I thought criminals go to underground doctors.
Drop the accent already. Underground doctors are a luxury.
She says. So Damien has the luxury of having a Matthias, but Valerie doesn't.
Also, criminals can, like normal people, fall downstairs and get hit by falling objects. Allegedly.
I play with the zipper of the makeup bag.
Are you sure there are no cameras here?
I'm still uncomfortable to talk like this in the open. I don't change my accent. Tanya dismisses me with a wave of her hand.
There are only cameras in the private rooms on both floors. Management isn't usually looking at the staff, just collecting proof of customers' indiscretions. For blackmail, mostly.
Why do people come here then?
Some of them don't know, some don't care. Some strike deals for the cameras to be turned off so they can indulge in whatever they like in peace. It's a tool to control and earn more money. Open the bag.
I unzip it and peek inside. Is this from Matthias? I let go of the pretense and embrace my own American voice. She nods and returns to playing on her phone. There is a silver ring with a sparkling diamond on top and a small but wide auto-injector syringe. It looks like a stubby, repurposed EpiPen. I take both the items out and observe them. The ring is exactly the same as Tanya's 2. Is this some secret symbol?
The syringe has a fast-acting, tranquilizing solution. If you have the guts to use it, it will make it look like your customer fell asleep right on top of you. But you have to put it in so the cameras won't see.
Tanya says. And the ring?
The ring has the antidote for the date rape drug they put in our teas.
She lets go of her phone for a second and waves her right hand in front of my face.
Pretty, right? If you push the stone down 2 times, a needle pops out at the bottom. But then you have to be fast because the antidote drips instantly, and there isn't much of it.
I take the ring in my palm and turn it this way and that way. There is a small hole at the bottom. I want to push the gem to see how it works, but I don't. If I use it now, I won't have the antidote when it matters.
The needle comes out at an angle, so the best place to put it is on your neck or your arm crease. You should aim for the vein and hope to get it right. You can try it. The one you have is empty.
Tanya says.
Matthias needs to know your weight and height so he can estimate the solution. You have his number, right? Text him your details.
I nod and put the ring on and press the stone twice. With a tiny jolt, a thin, short needle pops out sideways. It doesn't look easy to aim. I will have to practice at home. Is this how you saved me yesterday?
Yes.
Thank you.
I thought I could get you out. If Damien had told us you were on our side, I wouldn't have been so hasty and so angry with you.
And I'm grateful for that too. What you're doing is important. I pause and hesitate. Why do you stay? She glances at me. Her game makes soft popping sounds.
At Lavender? Or with Damien?
Both, I guess. Why do you go through rape and violence to save other people? The game yells, "Amazing job!" Tanya keeps silent.
Long story. Too little time.
She mutters finally. I put the syringe back in the makeup bag. I leave the ring on my finger. When I press twice, the needle retracts.
Suitable job.
Tanya says absent-mindedly as she taps her screen. She is matching something, the colorful game in complete contrast with my mood. When I decide she won't say anything more, she speaks again.
Back when Lavender was Damien's, the workers here could pick their own names. Mine was Firebird. It's a mythical bird of fire from Russian folklore. He built the golden cage in the lounge for me as a joke. Told me it was the only way to keep me working here. The Firebird's feathers are so hot one can't touch the bird with bare hands. The only way to catch it is to put golden apples in a golden cage, and then it will get in voluntarily. When it sings, pearls fall from its mouth. Its song heals all ailments and can make even blind people see.
That's beautiful. Why did you change it? She shakes her head.
I didn't. The new management did. All names turned derogatory. The prototype of the Firebird is said to be the peacock. But you know peacocks are male, right? And their females are a lot less impressive. So I became Peahen.
I don't know what to say. Are you okay? I ask finally. Her black dress is simple, but hides much of her body, and I wonder if it's only a pay cut she has taken for me. I remember how terrified she was of being discovered as we ran down the secret staircase.
I'm good. Just reminiscing,
she says, and volunteers nothing more. I don't know whether to take her laid-back attitude as a confirmation of her words or a coping mechanism after something horrible. She doesn't meet my eyes. I hope so, I say. I stand up and go to my locker. I conceal the makeup bag in the sleeve of my fur coat. Before I go back to the lounge, I look at her again. What's the deal with the girls at the door? I never seem to see the same one. Tanya starts, then shudders. She stands up, puts her phone in the locker, and turns the small key.
It's the job for the most desperate or a punishment for the most uncontrollable. Try not to anger Valerie because that's where she'll put you,
she says with a level voice. Behind her words, there's something else. Is it bad? What is it?
It's the people who do house calls,
she says. The sentence sounds like a verdict. My mind picks up from there. It's not that there is a regular turnover at that post. They don't return. I hope it is because they don't want to. I fear it is because there is no one to return. Tanya is on the way out. I catch her hand as she passes me. It is warm and sweaty, shaking lightly. She looks down, surprised by my touch. I don't squeeze her fingers, don't pull, just hold her gently. She doesn't pull away. Thank you, I say. For saving me and for telling me about your bird name. I appreciate you being my ally in this place. I want to help you, too. Just tell me how. I don't know if there is a way to help her. I don't have much to offer. My true skills are secret. My revenge is personal. The job details are not mine to share. I'm not even the real me.
It would help me if you stop goading Damien and just leave,
she says. Her words are harsh, but her face isn't. Her hand is still in mine. I can't leave, I say. You know I have a role to play. How much has he told you?
He doesn't tell me shit,
She says bitterly. My eyes narrow. Are you jealous? I ask, feeling a stab of guilt. I assumed Damien was single, but what if I was wrong? Tanya lets out a small, defeated laugh.
I'm not jealous, I'm afraid.
She says. Her voice is now much softer.
Don't you get it? Your involvement was not planned. Or at least I think it wasn't. You can get hurt. No, you will get hurt because of us. And not only that, if Damien is even slightly wrong about you, you can ruin us all.
She grabs my hand with her other one, cradling my fingers in her own. I see a glimpse of a pale, bruised wrist.
I hope he's judged you with his head and not with his dick.
She whispers as she squeezes my hand.
Because we're playing a very dangerous game here.
I blink, unable to find a reassuring answer. She lets go, leaving me alone in the staff room. Revenge was an easier, happier fantasy when it was only my neck on the line. Now it is a mess. I go back to the lounge and waitress without focusing on the customers. My mind is reeling with thoughts about Melanie, Damien, and Tanya, about Matthias's interesting feelings and his inventions, about danger, justice, and vengeance, a little about the horror of rape, and a lot about the girls and boys who were ever stationed at the door. When I leave for the night, I'm thinking about death. Chapter 30. I sleep until noon. It is a deep, dreamless sleep. My body needed to silence my mind and take its rest. It is as if I died for 10 hours. When I wake, I'm startled with a feeling I've forgotten something important. But the gnawing anxiety in my guts isn't because I've left the oven on or neglected my phone at work. It's because I've brewed myself a perfect storm of stress, and I'm swimming in its currents. I take my pillow and press it on top of my face until I feel the comforting darkness of not being able to breathe. My fuzzy brain focuses on survival and lets me have a momentary reprieve from my worries. When I get up, they all come back. Melanie and Damien, Tanya and Matthias, Valerie, Brad, and Chad. What trouble they all are. Only Hannah's calming presence remains there on the edges of all this, a beacon of hope that everything can be normal one day. I spend the rest of the day practicing with my ring at home. When my tiny punctures become too painful, I tidy the living room. I look at the photos of Melanie and me. When did things start going so wrong? By the end of the day, I'm moderately confident I can place my hand with my finger correctly on my neck to stick the needle in. It is painful from my attempts and from Brad's chokehold, but when I pat my makeup on, nothing is visible. I put my only red dress on. I will fight for myself tonight, so I choose my fighting clothes with care. The dress is bright enough to attract attention to itself, letting me hide my true purpose within it. Its shape, with one long sleeve and one bare shoulder, gives me access to the lockpicks in my bra, while the free-falling chiffon helps me hide more things around my legs. It has a delicate silhouette with a sash in the middle and a pair of ruffles going down one side. It is pretty, and it is functional. It is also the only dress that I owned before buying all the tacky ones for Lavender. It is my dress, Sophie's dress, and it's perfect for the last step of my mission. Under it, I'm wearing stockings and a garter belt this time, which lets me hide the syringe in a strap on the inside of my leg. I have another small pouch of lockpicks at the top hem of my black panties. I would have liked to have fitted my switchblade in somewhere too, but there is too much on me as it is. I look amazing, but feel like a Christmas tree. I phone Matthias from my car on the way to the tea room. I tell him his inventions are impressive, and that I've made my mind up to join them while I do my job. He says Tanya will meet me outside Lavender and pass me a ring full of antidote. My initial plan was to let myself into the office, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. I will get in, look around, and try to open both the safes behind Valerie's desk. And if that gets me a ledger, or anything useful to bring as hard evidence to the police, I'm out. If not, I will continue coming back for as long as the threat to myself is low. I've made the firm decision not to put myself in a position where I can get raped or killed, not without putting up a fight anyway. I park the Honda farther away tonight and walk to Lavender. It is cold, but the fog has subsided. I see Tanya leaning on the wall next to the front door, smoking. She waves, her body relaxed against the gray background. She has a long, sexy trench coat on, and part of my childish brain imagines her flashing me when I get closer, or opening it slowly and showing me her collection of counterfeit watches. But she does nothing like that. Doesn't even attempt to shake my hand or give me a hug. Our shaky relationship isn't there yet.
Welcome to the fray,
She says, and hands me another ring. I slip the empty one into the pocket of my coat.
Try not to forget which is the full one.
The one on my finger. I stick my tongue out. She cracks a tiny smile. Any instructions?
The tranquilizing solution in the syringe you have is estimated. It might not fully put your customer under. But trust me, even when they're sleepy and confused, they're much better than drunk and angry. Also here, this is from Damien.
She hands me a purple note and turns to leave. I scan it quickly. 3 types of intelligent animal. Monkey, dolphin, raven. But intelligence is not infallible. When mouths are brazen. Wait! I call after her. Do you know what this means? She gives it a quick look.
I assume it means to avoid being a smartass. Don't rile the customer up. He could have just put that.
Don't you like his poetry?
No, it's bad.
She rolls her eyes. I like it, I say, and fold the note, pushing it in my bra.
You like Damien,
she says with a chuckle. Tanya and I go inside, and the humor of the night is over. I feel like I'm walking a scaffold. A girl I've never seen before hands me a bright blue iris. There's a note wrapped around its stem. I thank her and uncurl the thin piece of paper when she's gone. Duke Hazelton is awaiting your presence. Go alone, apologize for your misdemeanor, and treat him well. Make sure you drink your tea. I swallow, small beads of sweat forming at my hairline. The room spins. Before I stumble, a confident hand grasps my upper arm and pushes me forward.
You can do it,
Tanya says. She leads me to the staff room to get ready.
If Damien is right about you, you can do it. You must do it. Be strong.
She utters the words like a reprimand, curt and sharp, but they reassure me. Someone has my back. I'm not alone in my fear, and I'm not alone in my pain. I steady myself, and while we remain alone, I give Tanya a tight hug. She is rigid in my embrace, but I don't care. I need this, and I know she needs it too. After a second, her body relaxes. She pats my back awkwardly. I'm starting to like you, Firebird, I say into her hair.
Please don't,
she replies, but it sounds like she's smiling. I head out and toward the Versailles room. The iris means I will have traditional French herbal tea together with my date rape drug. I would have preferred something stronger. Before I enter, I check my dress, all my hidden pockets, and my ring. I'm still shaking a bit, afraid of the man inside, but I talk myself down. Whatever he will do to me will be upstairs. For now, I'm safe. Terrified and repulsed, but safe. The room is as bright and opulent as ever. It is decorated in golds, whites, and pinks, and features. Crystal ornaments galore. A massive crystal chandelier is situated over a tall round table with a strikingly white table cover. They have already served tea and snacks. A mouth-watering selection of small croissants is laid out on a big plate and some chocolates on a smaller one. The teacups are light pink, decorated with golden swirls. A bouquet of irises is the only splash of blue in the room, full of glittering brightness. Only one thing looks out of place, and I'm supposed to entertain it. The man is like a carbon copy of Duke Harrington. He wears a gray suit, just as that night. I remember he was the one next to Kiara before the drug muddled my memories. When did they switch places? How did he end up with me? How is Kiara? I haven't seen her since then. I step toward the table. Despite his fitted suit, Duke Hazelton doesn't look like a gentleman. His shaved head, square stubbled jaw, and predatory eyes make him both scary and unattractive. He is not much older than me, maybe in his mid-30s at most, but his sneer sets his face in an ageless grimace. My body fights my order to move every step of the way. The seconds drag, but inevitably I sit down on a cushioned chair next to him.
I'm listening,
He says instead of a greeting. Smugness drips off him.
I apologize for my body's response the other night.
I say. But inside, my apologies are different. I apologize I wasn't violent. I apologize I wasn't brave enough to hurt you like you hurt me.
Miss Bergamot told me we have verbena tea today.
He sticks his chin toward my teacup.
I'm happy to drink mine. I have it with gin on the side. But you don't have to drink yours.
He lowers his head to mine. It takes all my concentration not to flinch from his closeness.
You prefer me to be less relaxed?
I ask, searching for words less crude that my mind initially produces.
I don't mind as long as you comply.
He leans back and takes a sip of his tea. I look into my cup. A piece of blue iris leaf floats inside. The discomfort of the syringe strapped to the inside of my leg is reassuring. The ring is a gimmick. It can help me or prevent me from doing anything. Maybe it's better to face the problem head on. Duke Hazelton observes me as I think. His gaze is unnerving, but I don't meet it.
Can I have some of your gin instead?
I ask finally.
Whatever you like.
He chuckles and waves at the camera. A few moments later, Brad comes in, his face betraying no emotion.
How can I help, sir?
His voice is nothing like the sharp strings of sentences he threw my way last night. I hate him for it.
I want to order another gin and take this tea away.
He gestures toward my cup.
Also, please turn off the cameras of the private room you've prepared upstairs for me. Most certainly, sir. Wonderful choice,
Brad says and looks at me. Our eyes meet briefly, and I see the viciousness in them, the pure joy that I will be wide awake to experience whatever horrible things the Duke wants to do to me. They also hold a promise of violence that sends a shudder down my spine. I have to avoid Brad no matter what. He wants to destroy me inside and out, and if he can, he will.
I must remind you that your request will incur an additional charge. I will add this to your final bill,
He says in his sing-song customer service voice. His gaze finally leaves me, and I intake a sharp breath, losing my shaky resolve for a moment. So Tanya was right, and I will find out what happens in rooms with no cameras. Nothing good. Or maybe this time something good. I won't have to worry about angles and positions. I just have to inject Hazelton with the tranquilizer and leave him there.
Yeah, just invoice it to the company.
The Duke says and waves Brad away. It appalls me that whatever happens tonight will be classed as a business expense. What kind of company allows non-consensual sex to be a work perk? As soon as Brad leaves, Duke Hazelton doesn't seem so scary anymore. Perspective is a powerful thing. A girl comes in to bring me my gin a few minutes later. The Duke and I make small talk about the crystal ornaments in the room and the current stock market. He chatters on, and I smile my fake smile, despising every word that comes out of his mouth. My anxiety grows with each passing second, and the gin, instead of easing it, burns on the way down, adding to my various aches and pains. I fantasize about jamming the needle in his neck, his throat, his eye. I imagine breaking his fingers one by one and crushing his face with the heel of my shoe. I dissociate from his presence and remain within myself where I'm strong and invulnerable, able to defeat him any way I like. When the gin glasses are empty, the Duke beckons me to stand up and lead the way. I get up carefully, making sure not to displace any of my hidden items. I open the door, and as I walk upstairs on autopilot, memories from the days before flood my mind. This was part 6 of The Lavender Phantom, book 1 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. To listen to the next 5 chapters, please navigate to the next video. All parts of this audiobook are available in the playlist The Lavender Phantom on this YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Like and comment to help get this book in front of more readers and subscribe to the channel to avoid missing out. See you in the next part.